Good evening. Welcome to News Tonight here on Metro Television. My name is Bridget Otu. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. The headlines. Residents of Noaso in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality of the Eastern region allege military brutalities over installation of prepaid meters few days after power was restored in the Krobo land. Also in the news, President Akufo-Addo says extraordinary measures are being put in place to fortify Ghana's borders against terrorist attacks, urging citizens to be security conscious and volunteer information once they sense danger. In business, government reveals the first tranche of a $750 million Afrexim Bank facility will be received in the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, to close shops on August 29 to demonstrate against rapid cedi depreciation. On the international front, Russia accuses Ukrainian special services of killing the daughter of one of Vladimir Putin's ally in a car bombing near Moscow over the weekend. We have details of these stories and more in the next hour. Thank you again for joining us. Hello again, and remember we're streaming on Twitter is at Metro TV GH, and on Facebook is at Metro TV Ghana and at Newsnight. Our very first story tonight, and former presidential candidate of the United People's Party and political commentator Kwesi Adai-Odike has said that he has been attacked by gunmen on Monday, August 22. According to his bodyguard Francis Adai, some unidentified group stormed his office with guns and vandalized his office. And we'll try and go on the phone and speak to him to understand exactly what happened there. Right. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, madam.
Right. So tell us where you are now and if you're safe and what the security situation is there like.
Yes, police has come to my rescue. They are in my office now, taking inventory of items being destroyed, and the bullets and their spots and the vehicles they destroyed and all the things they ransacked in my office.
Right. No, just give us a sense of, you said they were shooting at you or shooting at the officers. If we can have the visuals on air so persons can appreciate what's happening.
Actually, Tax from Mensha, I was able to identify one.
Okay.
So I know him personally. That is one of the Tax from Mensha.
You mean thugs from Mensha? Thugs?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
When they entered, whilst he was shooting indiscriminately in the room,
right,
what they were saying is, where is Odike? We will kill you. You are talking, you are bringing the hard-won reputation of the Mensha to disrepute. So we will kill you today. And madam, the guy knows me, but I believe angels of the Lord shielded me. You couldn't identify me. So whilst he was struggling, we were 10 in number in the room. So whilst he was struggling with others, I maneuvered myself into a hideout where he was not able to identify me.
Okay.
And as if that was not enough, they went back into the onto the street and started searching other offices, thinking that I might have gone there for a hideout.
Okay.
But as soon as they came out, I went into a proper hiding.
Okay.
And they tried in the office several times. They couldn't find me.
Okay.
And all this while, they were shooting. So it created a scene around the vicinity. And everybody in the shops around the street, vehicle traffic came to a halt.
Okay.
It was just like,
okay. Mr. Odike, and why did they attack you? I know you're alleging that you had made certain pronouncement that they considered defamatory or against Otumfuo Osei-Tutu. Can you just share more light on why they would attack you?
We were, as a politician, we are every day on radio, and I was trying. We were discussing Galamsey and its menace in our region.
Right.
And when we got to my turn, I was accusing the authorities, that is Mensia, that they are behind the Galamsey. If not, they couldn't have allowed these people to carry on these nefarious activities. And the latest is River, and also government state lands in this region has been rezoned and given to Mensia. What it means is that
so we get why you were attacked, or you think why you were attacked. But so can you tell us, do you think that Mensia Palace is aware that Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II is aware and sanctioned these thugs to attack you?
Yes, because Mensia has already sanctioned me. They have banished me not to come there, and they went further to report the matter to police. And again, they instructed my chief in my own hometown also to banish me not to come to my village. And my properties there have been frozen, according to the press conference they did. So it is a news with item going around these 3-4 days. So everybody is aware that the Mensia is after me.
Okay, so will you report Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II to the police?
Now they are taking inventory here. I'm with the police. After that, we'll go back to the station and I start right mine.
I mean, will you file charges against Otumfuo Osei-Tutu? Because if he's sanctioned this, then the police would have to invite.
So whether he sent them or not, that is what I know.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. We'll definitely be following up on this. He says that thugs from Mensia Palace are after he accused Mensia Palace of being involved in Galamsey. We'll definitely stay on it and see what happened. You saw the distraction there. It's a story that our Ashanti regional correspondent will definitely be following up on it. So stay with us here on Metro Television. Let's go to another story that has dominated headlines for weeks now, and that some residents of Noaso in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality of the Eastern region are alleging military brutality a few days after power was restored to the troubled Krobo area. According to residents, a team from Electricity Company of Ghana with military personnel who stormed houses in the Noaso area to install prepaid meters subjected residents who refused to accept the meters to beatings, inflicting deep wounds on them. That's more in the following report.
Mass installation of the prepaid meters resumed on Monday in both Old and New Noaso in Krobo Dumasi area after power was restored a few days ago. A joint team of ECG and personnel from the 49 Engineers Regiment stormed houses in the area in a bid to install prepaid meters, which has been the subject of all the controversy in the Krobo enclave. Some residents later alleged to have been brutalized by the military were said to have refused to accept the fresh meters. It is unclear what triggered the attacks, but unconfirmed reports also indicate that some residents attempted pouring hot oil on personnel of the ECG and the military. Others also threatened to inflict cutlass wounds on them if they dared to install the new meters.
This afternoon we were here where the police, the soldiers, they came. They came and attacked we to give us prepaid. But we didn't thought that we would take their prepaid. Me, I don't know what they are doing, sir. I'm from Bush. I go and cut firewood. So after we from the place where we go and drop the firewood, as we are coming and we meet the soldier men, and they attack me by force and start to beat me rough. I don't understand. I don't know what I do them before they start to beat me.
They didn't ask anybody question. They started beating us us. But we didn't see. They didn't inform us. What we see that the military men came to us. and they have gone back. They also came back again. So if anybody who they saw you roaming about, it means that you are their enemy.
The assemblyman of Old Nuaso electoral area, Samuel Tagore, blamed the ECG and the soldiers for the confrontation.
Just sometimes you are in town because you have the power, you have the soldiers, you have this thing, so you are coming to brutalize my people in my community. That is not right. I'm not happy about what happened. Look at pregnant women, people that are coming from farm and things. Innocent people. What is happening? What is happening in my community in Ghana? No, there's no way. The big men have to come out and talk to their people that they are going too much. They are going too much.
Meanwhile, management of the ECG has indicated that work is smoothly ongoing in some parts of the Nuaso area and have begun their own investigations to ascertain the allegations and what actually transpired.
We'll stay on this a little longer, but before that, I have two guests in the studio. Palgrave Boakye Dankwa. He's a governance and security expert, speaks for the government. And also Sunny Adib, he is a security analyst as well, and a very familiar face with us here at Metro TV. But first, let's hear from our Eastern Regional correspondent, Kofi J, on currently what's happening there, what the situation is there like. Kofi, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Evening.
What more can you share with us in respect of what happened there?
As for this problem, I'm even getting tired. Each and every day, something new comes up. And when you get there, you hear the different stories. When we got there around 1:30, 2 p.m., the soldiers had already come and left. But we met some of the residents complaining a lot about how they have been beating them and all that. When we asked them what they did to their soldiers, they said they haven't done anything. When you talk to, I had a chance to talk to one or two people who are soldiers, and they were telling me as they were going around, some of the residents threatened them that they will put hot oil on them. And because of that, they decided to protect themselves. They even retrieved a cutlass from one of the residents as they start to confront them at the place.
Right.
Right now, as to what is happening there, we don't know. Do you know, as the confrontations were happening at Old Town, at the New Town, the ECG were on their operation trying to work on some of the transformers, because even though the light came since Friday, some of the areas at Nuaso were not having light because some of their transformers got affected. So they needed to work on some of the transformers. And whilst they were installing prepaid at New Town, the Old Town people were having confrontation with this ECG and the people. So right now, we don't really know what happened, what triggered it, because everybody is giving it a different story altogether.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for talking
to us.
But
as I was living there, the youth were on the street, very angry.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for talking to us, Kofi J. All right. So in the studio, like I introduced Palgrave, I want to pick from you first. What does government make of all of this that's happening? How are you using the intelligence and, of course, the realities of what we are seeing in terms of the resistance and also the violence, which you don't want to see?
Bridget, a very good evening to you
right.
and to your listeners and viewers on social media. I believe very well there's a great concern for us as a government. You are aware that the Krobo Foundation have been very notorious over the past few years, especially using utility and not being desirous to pay for utilities that they use. Over the period, it had become extremely chaos, for which reason the military and national security needed to step in, especially to protect the lives and livelihood and properties of utility company like ECG.
Right.
And even the personnel that work with ECG. And so there was some work that was done to really see whether they would change their mind. For about 3 weeks, lights were put off in the community to ensure to see that we can be able to start a process of installing prepaid meters. Now, these persons do not want government to install prepaid meters. They want postpaid meters. And you are aware how postpaid meters work in this country. It means that the consumer would use the light and pay later.
Right.
And if persons have already decided that they are not going to pay, then the next avenue is really to just install prepaid. So you pay as you go. Now, when the lights came back on after 3 weeks of going off, and the ECG were on the ground to start the installation, they were prevented by the community people.
Right.
There were a number of videos that we received at National Security, which I shared with your very good Noble House,
right,
where the residents were pelling stones and they had guns and cutlass and sticks.
So that did not, you're saying that it didn't come from the military.
No.
It's the residents who were attacking.
Yes,
right,
the residents were attacking. And it was a bit uncalled for. The presence of the security in the environment is to ensure that government really brings sanity and safety and allows these persons to have prepaid meters. But yet still, they continually, over and over again, want to be able to resist from the good work that government desires to do.
All right.
This is quite unfortunate.
Okay.
And we want to be able to stick on record that government is continually very willing to engage, as we always have been, and really restore calm to the Krobo and the Nsoaso community, that they should ensure that there's no need for you to peddle stones and use guns and sticks against ECG personnel and even military personnel that are wanting to bring light into your community.
Okay, all right. Sonia, what do you make of it? I mean, yes, military presence naturally shoots the whole tension into like a whole new level. But then again, government says we have no choice but to do so in protection of machinery and people. By this, I mean the lives of persons who work for ECG. Good strategy. What's the implications of that?
Well, I had my misgivings about the use of the military to get the community members to comply. I thought the police could have been used, but it almost looks like by default the police cannot do anything in this country, so we resort to the use of the military. But what is fascinating about this is the community, some community members have become militant, so belligerent towards ECG that to the extent that the ECG also, on the other hand, had to get militant. You know, so when you have two militant sides colliding, you know, it deteriorates the situation. And what I also find surprising is the fact that we were made to believe some few days ago that an amicable solution had been found. So I'm quite surprised that today, you know, we had some residents coming out. So what in essence this means is the problem is still persistent, and we really need to work harder to get to the
And from where you say, is it too late to go back to dialoguing? Have we passed that?
I don't think it's too late. We have to use, at the point, the carrot and stick approach. We have to ensure that the laws are enforced to the latter, at the same time continue dialoguing with them. But who would say no, by the way, to prepaid meters? I even prefer it. I mean, because when you have the bills pile up, in the end, payment becomes a bit of a problem.
Well, I guess there are reservations about how it runs. I mean, I've had issues where sometimes a day you're buying 80, 100 cedis. You're just a single person living in your own apartment and then having to go back and forth. And in the rural areas, they have a whole new mindset about it. So perhaps education has not gone well, orientation to accepting the prepaid meters?
No doubt about that. I think education is key. And a lot of work has to go into this, including the customer service of ECG in that area, because some have complained that if they have issues and they get to the office, it's not usually addressed.
Okay, my final question is dialoguing something government would consider, given where we are, and also the fear that should you push through with this installation of the prepaid meters, you'd wake up one morning and they are not there, and you won't have one person to hold responsibility for the destruction of the meters. Absolutely.
Government is very open to negotiations and conversations. I mean, prior to even entering into the community of Nsoaso, and this is old Nsoaso, entering into the community, we had already engaged with the persons. And the people that work with ECG in the community are residents of the community, citizens of the community. That is their home. They have relatives, they have spouses, they have children whom they would always say, I'm going to work and I'm coming back. And the PRO of ECG, when I heard her make the comment, really stated that how would you feel when your son or your daughter or your father or your mother has told you that I'm going to work, and then in the line of duty, you are called that your mother or your father or your sister or your nephew or niece who came to work has been harmed by their own resident.
Right.
And so really the real goal is to ensure that development comes into the environment. And it's important that we exchange the right hand of fellowship to the people of Nswaso and negotiate with them.
So far, it
this
doesn't
is
look like
good.
government has done that. It looks like government is forcing its way into it. And that's why you're facing a lot of resistance.
No, it's not. A government is not necessarily forcing its way. These are a group of foundation people who have decided that they would want to resist paying utility that they are using. And so we government went in to close, shut down the lights for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
But the impact on the community was huge.
Okay.
And so we came back to see how we can install these prepaid meters.
In
that will
15
help.
seconds, advice for government on how to moving forward?
The government really has to negotiate further with the people. If not, Palgrave, you know what would happen? We would install the meters. We are not going to guard the meters 24/7.
Yep.
We would leave there and they would destroy the meters.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's
so we need to enforce the law. At the same time, we need to continue that process so we are able to, in a sustainable manner,
Right.
deal with this issue once and for all.
I want to say a big thank you to you, Palgrave,
you,
Wachi
Bridget.
Dankwa, and Sunny Adiba. Both have expertise in security. Palgrave speaks for the government, and my friend here, Sunny Adiba, speaks for himself and the people. So we'll continue with the rest of our stories. And there was mayhem in the early hours of Sunday, August 20, at Barry Kessie in the Ashanti region, as Irish youth of the area allegedly attacked the chief's palace, Nana Amoampim Brenya II, who was accused by the youth of not doing enough to push for the community's development. They needed a heavy police shield. He needed a heavy police shield to leave his besieged palace.
Some irate youth of Barikesi in the Ichima Nwabija North District of the Ashanti region halted the traditional sacred 40-day cycle festival known as Akwesidae, with the protest accusing the chief of not doing enough to push for the community's development. According to them, the chief of the area, Nana Amoampim Brenya II, frequently deploys land guard to terrorize them. They, however, appealed to the Ashanti Hene to intervene, adding that they cannot reside in the community with the chief. The irate youth, clouded in red and black, stormed the palace when the chief was preparing to celebrate the Akwesidae festival, pelting stones and other objects in the chief's directions amidst hooting and shouting. The chief had to escape from the palace through a human barricade formed by armed police personnel who were deployed to the scene to maintain law and order. Akwesi Hene is a spokesperson for the irate youth.
Our chief has done nothing for us. He is just a ceremonial chief. We are always in a battle with land guards.
Some of the aggrieved youth also spoke to the media.
We need development. We don't have any job to do in this community, and our chief has done nothing to assist us. We share boundaries with many communities, and this our chief is calling for funds to allow us bury the dead.
Though calm has been restored, security has been beefed up, even though the police is yet to effect an arrest. Meanwhile, Nana Amoapim Brenya II has declined to publicly make comment on the disturbance. He is, however, expected to visit the Asantehene Otumfuo Sei Tutu II before he breaks his silence.
You'll have here on Newsnight. Still to come, we'll look at Guta. They intend to lock their shops in protest of the rapid depreciation of the city, which is hurting their businesses. We'll also tell you what government says, there is some light at the end of this tunnel because some 750 million Afrexim Bank loan. What does that even mean? We'll tell you more after the break. Stay with us.
By the details of the trading community, by the details of the trading community, we declare closure of shops in Accra on Monday, 29th August 2020 to officially demonstrate these concerns to the government.
Welcome back to Newsnight here on Metro Television. We continue with the rest of our stories and we understand that the CITAG, that's a College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, has declared a strike, and they write with reference to Labour Act 2003 to serve notice of our intention to withdraw our services effective 1st September 2022. This decision has been occasioned by the following violations of our rights as academic staff of the 46 public colleges of education in Ghana. One, they say the employers undue and deliberate delay in giving us our full conditions of service in spite of engaging the leadership of the association in negotiations since August 2021, that's a year ago. The association considers this attitude of the employer as an infringement of our rights, on our rights as workers under Article 24, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. Two, the employer's refusal to act on our demand for compensatory allowance for compelling the academic staff to work throughout the year without taking our compulsory inter-semester vacation or off-season break, contrary to provisions of the harmonized conditions of service for the colleges of education. So those are the two main reasons for the intention to strike beginning 1st September. And they say they wish to state categorically that we shall rescind our decision to withdraw our service only if, one, the employer has given our full conditions of service, and also the employer has granted the academic staff of the College of Education a compensatory allowance for working all year. So it's a monetary issue here, right? And to another story, and it's EC has taken a spiritual dimension, but the Electoral Commission says that it has denied inviting spiritualists to inter-party advisory committee meetings, IPAC meetings, to cast out supposed demons. Now, according to the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, the EC boss, Jean Mensah, during a meeting with some political parties, engaged in some mysterious acts, including spiritual prayers, to tame suspected demons at the meeting. These are excerpts of the statement. Right. Sister in response to that, the accusation says that the EC boss brought spiritualists to IPAC meeting. The attention of the Electoral Commission has been drawn to a statement made by Mr. Asiedu Nketia, General Secretary of the NDC, to the effect that the chairperson of the commission, Mrs. Jean Mensah, brought spiritualists to an IPAC meeting to cast out demons. For the information of the general public, this is untrue. It never occurred. IPAC meetings are meant to discuss issues relating to Ghana's electoral system. This is exactly what occurs there. IPAC meetings are attended by political parties, civil society, and development partners. We state categorically that Mr. Nketia's assertion is not true, and we challenge him to prove it. And that's the statement from IPAC, from Electoral Commission, denying any spiritual involvement in IPAC meetings. And as you're well aware, the president is on a tour, and President Akufo-Addo says extraordinary measures are being put in place to fortify Ghana's borders against terrorist attacks. Addressing residents of Nandom in the Upper West region, the president urged citizens to be security conscious and volunteer information once they sense danger.
The president began his tour of the Upper West region with a courtesy call on the Wana. He then proceeded to inspect ongoing works on the second phase of a youth resource center at Nandom. President Akufo-Addo cut the sword for the dualization of the Nandom Town Road and also assessed the status of the Agenda 111 project at Lambusi. Addressing residents, the president urged them to be vigilant in the wake of terrorist attacks in neighboring countries.
The terrorist threat that for some time seemed to be located a long way away in the Sahel is now on our very doorsteps in Burkina Faso. And that is why these extraordinary measures are being taken to secure our northern border with the forward operating bases, 3 of which are located in the Upper West. And with other measures that are being taken to expand the personnel of our armed forces and security agencies so that we can meet this threat head on and make sure that our country, unlike other countries in West Africa, does not become a battleground for terrorist activity.
He assured them the government will continue to retool the security agencies to enhance their operations.
And it is because of that that we need the full cooperation of the civilian population with our security agencies. Under the slogan that the Ministry of National Security has coined, see something, say something. We have to work together to make sure that no penetration of Ghana takes place with terrorists.
A security expert, Dr. Richard Somiari, is calling for an upgrade of Ghana's National DNA Center to assist law enforcement agencies in quick detection of crime. According to him, a proper DNA database by government could also deter terrorists from hitting Ghana.
During the commission,
Right, we apologize for that, and we'll definitely bring you that story, important story later on. And co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, has commended the special prosecutor for ordering the Commissioner of Customs Division to discontinue all auction sales. Such a directive, he says, will allow for thorough investigations into the matter. The order, which takes immediate effect according to the special prosecutor, holds until the investigations is completed.
In a press statement issued Monday, August 22, Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabing directed the Commissioner of the Customs Division to immediately halt and discontinue all auction sales until the investigation is concluded. The investigation is based on corruption and corruption-related auction sale of vehicles and goods, among other activities at the division. The probe is between July 1, 2016 and August 15, 2022. The special prosecutor had demanded that the GRA's Customs Division furnishes his office with documents relating to all rulings and benchmark values applied dating back to 2017. This is after OSP's findings revealed alleged corrupt activities involving La Bianca Group of companies and the Customs Division. The report concluded that the owner of the company, Eunice Jacqueline Bois Asumahine, had taken advantage of her position as a board member of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority at the time to get favors. This move, according to co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, will help in making sure things are done right.
The special prosecutor obviously is on a crusade to make sure that whatever is going on as far as tax revenues, we are safeguarding the purse. And I think it's important. It's good for Ghana. We've just gone to the IMF. Any resources we can retrieve, monies we can make sure go into the public purse, strengthens our position. So I am delighted that he's taking these actions. I think that the initial response by customs itself has just also probably triggered further scrutiny. And so we are happy to note that he's going to make sure there's a more thorough investigation as to all the activities that are going on in that space.
The special prosecutor recovered an amount of 1,074 million Ghana cedis from the company, whose owner doubles as a member of the Council of State.
And I know you've all been waiting for the Guta story, and my colleague Kenneth Jesse is on standby to tell you the impact of Guta deciding to lock their shops to stop the bleeding of the city. We'll be back with details.
Welcome back to Newsnight. My name is Kenneth Jesse. In business tonight, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has served notice that shops of members will close from Monday, August 29th. According to the association, the depreciation of the city has eroded the capital its members have made so far and is severely hampering their operations.
According to Guta, the depreciation of the city has eroded the capital of its members and is severely hampering their operations. A dollar is currently trading at 10 Ghana cedis, inflation is almost at 32%, and the policy rate is currently at 22%. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, the president of Guta, Dr. Joseph, acted swiftly to address their concerns to salvage the ailing economy. He added the influx of foreigners in the retail business is affecting them negatively. He said members of the association have decided to close all shops from Monday to officially register their displeasure to the government.
There have been a series of pressure and agitations coming from members of the trading community on the leadership of Guta to register our frustrations and desperations to the government to appreciate the extent to which we are suffering as a result of the depreciation of the city. By the details of the trading community, by the details of the trading community, by the details of the trading community, we declare closure of shops in Accra on Monday, 29th August 2022 to officially demonstrate these concerns to the government.
Some members of the association also share their views on the worsening economic situation and some government policies that are affecting their businesses.
His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo's watch, we are seeing an escalating of inflation beyond repairs. It's as if this country has no anybody leading us. Everything has been let to fall freely. And if you see the city today, when they took over, it was 3.8. Today, we are paying 10.6. And we cannot continue as businesses and importers.
Agency will bring their agency, authorities, ministries, government. So there are a lot of, policy, taxes, and yes. So with the COVID and the depreciation of the city, with other interministerial and agency, what do you call it, taxes, you see that the importer is left with nothing but poorer and poorer. We pray that the government, come to our aid.
Ghana's economy is currently in dire state with the worsening public debt, rising inflation, skyrocketing fuel prices, and depreciation of the cedi, among others.
In other business story tonight, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah has hinted that government has concluded negotiations with Afrexim Bank and will, in the next 24 hours, receive the first tranche of $750 million as part of measures to address the city slump.
Our challenge with the currency is that as a country, do not export and repatriate enough dollar into the Ghanaian economy. We don't export enough and repatriate enough dollars into the Ghanaian economy. Very often, it has been when the fiscal policy managers go and borrow dollar as part of our financing program that you find that Ghana receives forex. That, in addition to a number of reasons that the Bank of Ghana has put out, have culminated in a situation where this year because of the downgrades we have suffered, for which reason we cannot access the international capital markets, what is happening is that the inflow of forex is limited, and therefore the extraordinary demand by the stronger dollar and by the import pressures of our country, in addition to the repatriation of funds by investors, etc., as a result of what's happening globally, has led to a cedi that has depreciated pretty quickly. The Bank of Ghana introduced a number of measures in the short term to deal with it. And on the back of that, in fact, I think this morning the president was briefed that the $750 million that we were expecting, now all the paperwork has been concluded and should be hitting our accounts perhaps maybe today or tomorrow. That was a brief that the president was given this morning. So if I were you and I was holding on to dollar, I'll be selling it by now, because there's a lot more dollar coming in from the 750 and then also from the cocoa syndicated loan of about 1.3. That comes together to about $2 billion hitting the Ghanaian economy in the very, very, very short run. And our expectation is that it would lead to a quick stabilization. But there's also a lot of work that the Bank of Ghana is been doing, supported by the broader economic policy managers aimed at addressing the fundamental issue, which is ensuring that we export more, get the dollars back into the Ghanaian economy.
That's it for business. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Manchester United is currently leading by a goal to nil against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Phil John Corte will be here to tell us more after the break.
It's 45 past 19 hours GMT, the Ghanaian capital, Accra. My name is Phil John Quarter, and it's time for sports. But just before we get to golf, let's bring you news from Old Trafford. Manchester United, despite all their problems, are leading Liverpool by a goal to nil in a much-anticipated tie at Old Trafford. Sancho scored the only goal in the first half. We're being told that it's 46 minutes, and certainly we'll go into the second half of CRN to bring you all the update right here on Metro TV. Now, let's go to Achimota, because that is the place that the Dr. Ishmael Janssen Invitational Golf Championship was held over the weekend.
The nation's premier golf course at Achimota welcomed over 100 golfers across the country for the Dr. Ishmael Janssen Invitational MTN Tournament. The golf event was organized to reward and honor Dr. Ishmael Janssen, board chairman of MTN Ghana, for his immense contribution to the development of the sport of golf and the corporate world. With the greens well trimmed and weather conditions perfect for the game, the golfers teed off with the hope of winning the ultimate, not forgetting the bragging rights. When they settled down at the clubhouse for the closing ceremony, Frank Avose with 38 points won the Dr. Ishmael Janssen MTN Invitational Golf Tournament. The men's Group A third place went to Eric Jene, who recorded 33 points, with second going to Ayub Gandu, scoring 36 points, and grabbed his trophy and product from the sponsors. In the men's Group B category, Amos Bratton stepped out for the second position prize, whilst the first position went to Fifi Thompson. The ladies' handicap second position went to Maria Tuba, with Elizabeth Isel Kumsin winning the first spot. In the highly spirited golf competition, the longest drive was won by Vasti Amwafo Yeboah in the ladies' division, while competition secretary at Achimota Golf Club, Kweku Asare Fusohene, went home with the men's longest drive prize. Captain of the host club, Kwesi Amwafo Yeboah, won the men's senior top position award, while Maggie Owusuba took the women's senior prize with 34 points. Closest to the pin, men and women went to Adjoa Asaria Samoa and Frank Avose respectively. Speaking at the award ceremony, David Akutu, chairman of the Achimota Golf Club, said Dr. Janssen served the Achimota Club and deserved to be celebrated as a special personality. He revealed that Dr. Janssen is on record as the first person to visit the golf course every day. He proposed a toast in honor of Dr. Ishmael Janssen, whose impact, relevance, and integrity were immeasurable. Dr. Janssen, who joined MTN in 2011, responded that after working in the banking industry and Unilever, he has learned much in the telecommunications sphere and still learning. He said MCN has contributed to the digitization and the economy of Ghana in general.
Well, it feels great to be part of an event like this, and it is really good. I pray that we will see more of this corporate organizations and coming in to support golf industry.
Great. Though I played very well, unfortunately, you know, there are other players. I didn't win, but I did great, and I won the longest drive, which I'm very grateful for.
Very, very good. Very well. I wasn't expecting it. I was called, and then I said I'm going to do my best, and I did my best.
Well, away from that, with 93 days to the Mundial in Qatar, we're being told that Ahmed Ben Ali Stadium is ready for the Mundial.
Ahmad bin Ali Stadium. The Ahmad bin Ali Stadium, better known as the Al Rayyan Stadium, sits on the site of one of Qatar's former major arenas. In fact, it's almost the same stadium, with 80% of the construction materials being reused or recycled. It's a masterclass of upcycling. Not that you could tell. Designed by Pattern Design, this 40,000-seater stadium features a huge media facade with a membrane that acts as a screen for projections, news, commercials, and tournament information. It's hard to comprehend the scale or the glimmering spectacle it creates on the horizon, miles away in the desert. With a price tag of $360 million, it's one of the cheaper stadiums built by the Qataris, but no less breathtaking. It is also one of the few planned to be used by a sports team after the tournament ends. The Al Rayyan Sports Club will call the stadium home, albeit with a reduced capacity of 20,000. Al Rayyan is a multi-sport club and one of Qatar's most successful. With titles in basketball, handball, and volleyball, the stadium is sure to get significant use, although it's the football team that receives most of the attention. The stadium will host 7 matches through the 2022 World Cup, opening to the public in December 2020. It's already hosted 4 matches during the FIFA Arab Cup 2021, where it was a wild success.
So there you have it, 93 days to the Mundial, the Ahmed Ben Ali Stadium now ready. We've been told that the likes of Wales and Japan will be using that very stadium in Qatar. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Over to you, Asidra.
Thank you, Phil, for the updates in sports. It's time for entertainment news. I am Esiodua Akumia. Imani Beats of popular gospel trio Preachers revealed that the group is currently on solo journeys in the gospel industry. He made this revelation on Entertainment Review.
That, Charlie. Good health like that, Charlie. Success like that, Charlie. More money like that. They wanna know what they do me like that, Charlie. Fly boy like that, Charlie. Fine boy like that, Charlie. More money like that. So I tell her,
we have been roaming around, so Preachers, we haven't really been stable. Obed is in British Columbia. Eddie is in Toronto.
Yeah.
So there's not really much we can do as a group in Ghana.
Okay.
But Obed released Wimpang EP, and now I've been tasked to also release my EP. So we are doing solo projects under Bible Hub the Movement. So I just dropped a single, Jesus Steps. You can check it on Apple Music and all digital platforms. Yeah, so that's what we are doing now. I'll be releasing my EP soon, but now you can check out the single, Jesus Steps.
Now, away from that, John Okafor, popularly known as Mr. Ibu, after being a victim of food poisoning on several occasions, says he is now usually skeptical whenever he is around new faces. In an interview with Sunday Scoop, the actor revealed that he was poisoned by someone he had helped in the past. Mr. Ibu is still undergoing treatment in Abuja over the poison in his system. The actor also tasked the government to do more in providing security for filmmakers. Well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Esiodua Akumia. Bridget?
Thank you very much, Esiodua. International news is next.
At least 43 people have died in the huge fires that have ravaged forests in urban areas of northeastern Algeria in recent days, according to a new report by the National Gendarmerie on Monday. The Gendarmerie, quoted by Algerian radio, also announced the arrest of 13 people suspected of being involved in the arson attacks, which also left nearly 200 people injured, many of them with serious burns. Russia has accused Ukrainian special services of killing the daughter of one of Vladimir Putin's allies in a car bombing near Moscow at the weekend. Journalist Daria Dugina, aged 29, died on Saturday when a vehicle she was driving exploded near Russia's capital. Anthony Fauci will step down as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and chief medical advisor to President Joe Biden. Dr. Fauci, who served as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases for 38 years, said he would leave both positions in December to pursue the next chapter of his career.
And that's it for Newsnight. My name is Bridget Otu. Thank you very much for joining us. And tonight at 9 p.m., I will be on One-on-One with Nana Ajima. He's a sports analyst and also the president of the Empire Association. We're talking weed. Join us at 9 p.m.